What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Payton Collier podcast. My next guest is a singer-songwriter from Texas who took the internet by storm last year with his song Crying in the Rain. Since then, he has played shows opening for artists like Willie Nelson and Flatland Cavalry. His new EP, Rebel Ways, spotlights his signature sound, a smooth roots genre he brands as Texas soul. It was an honor and a privilege to sit down with this artist, and I'm truly excited for his career ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Alex Lambert. Alex, thanks for being here today, man. Cheese.
Thanks so much for having me.
You got some new tunes coming out. You've had a couple already come out this year. I think you're 4 singles deep on the Spotify's and the Apple Music's. Yes.
Yep.
Diving into your music just out of the gate. You got this song Crying in the Rain, which is this deep fried Southern soul from the heart hole is what I'd say it is. Listening to it. Tell me about Crying in the Rain, writing that song, and how you feel when you sing that song.
It was one of them that just kind of came out, and I wrote it without having to, sometimes you sit down and you try to make this perfect story, and it was kind of just a feeling that I had. I heard the chord progression, and I stole it. And I said, picked out my guitar and figured out what chords it was I was hearing. And it was off a movie or something. I get a lot of music inspo off movies. And I just started strumming the chords and instantly just started singing. Don't you know I sit alone and wonder. And it just came out. It just literally came out. And I had to think about the second verse. The first verse and the chorus came out, and then I had to think, what am I want to say here in the second verse? But a lot of times when I write, it's strange because it is like mostly stream of consciousness, and then I kind of like piece the rest of it together. So I do have a lot of work to do as a songwriter, as a craft. I coming to Nashville a year ago. It's really been mind-blowing the writers. I used to live in LA, and it was a lot more vibe.
You're a Texas born and raised man, aren't you?
That's right.
Tell me about your life growing up in Texas.
Growing up in Texas was amazing, man. I got so much culture, especially in Fort Worth. I go down to the stockyards. I'm like so thankful to come from a place that's got such a strong, deep-rooted culture.
You still carry that Texan pride with you?
Yeah, yeah. Where I'm from plays a big part of who I am, I had to get back home after living in LA for a while to really get back to who I was, and to help me find what kind of music I wanted to make.
So was there any music in your home?
Well, my granddad was a musician. He was a country music singer and songwriter and producer. In Fort Worth, he had a studio there, and he would like kind of develop artists. So I grew up. By the time I was a kid, the studio was kind of ran down, but my granddad taught me to play, and my grandparents really helped a lot at our house because my mom was working a lot. She worked she'd drop us off at school and she wouldn't get home till like 1 or 2 in the morning. So my grandparents picked us up from school a lot. We'd go to their house a lot. But my granddad always had guitars laying around, just like how you do here. And he would just teach me how this is an A chord, and he was just teach me these chords go together, and that's kind of how it started. And then he started. He would kind of give me tasks. He'd say, "Okay, the family reunion's coming up. I want you to learn this song and this song so you can play it for everybody, and you'll have like a performance." So that's kind of where it started, music for me, my granddad.
Do you remember just being fascinated by what he had going on in his career and his life? Like you probably could have been able to tell, my granddad's got a studio and living this life that's a lot of different than most people's granddads in Texas, I would think. So
yeah.
Very unique element of exposure to music for you in your youth.
That's right. Yeah, my papa was he was like Superman. Tell me about him. Yeah, he was badass. He was he's the reason that I do this. He ingrained in me as a young kid. I have a bunch of cousins, dozens of cousins and everybody. He picked me out because, my mom we spent a lot of time together. So he'd teach me how to, fix a car and change the alternator out and, how to jump. So I learned a lot from my papa, but he ingrained in me a good belief in myself because he would tell me, "You're a great singer. You're going to be an amazing musician one day, as long as you put the work in and you have what it takes to make it, And I was little kid. I was probably 10 years old. So that was a big part of my,
Would you hear that kind of that realm of support from other people in your life, or do you think your grandpa really saw something special in you?
Yeah, I think I think I was just passionate about the same things that he loved, and it was easy I wanted to be like him, and so he just kind of took me under his wing. I'm so blessed to have had that role model in my life. A lot of folks don't have that, positive male role model to kind of like hold them accountable and give them that support and, kind of build their self-esteem up. So
yeah,
it was awesome, dude.
And I appreciate the fact that you said, like he taught you how to do a lot of stuff, things a man ought to know.
That's right.
As Laney Wilson would say. And he worked with some country music people in the industry, like Willie Nelson, correct?
Yeah, how did you know that?
Little known website, you may have heard of it, called Wikipedia, to do a little background work on.
Yeah,
you
he
before
had some. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Yeah, he did some things with some notable folks, but he never really had a big break. He had kids early, and my grandma kind of was like, he just decided to be a family man instead of going on the road, and he had the opportunity to go out with those guys. He was in bands with like Conway Twitty, and he did some things, and it was exciting. He had a million stories and a bunch of songs, and so
it's pretty wild how full circle it has come. I saw you post on Instagram recently that you're going to be playing a show opening for none other than Mr. Willie Nelson. It's unique to observe that your grandfather had, some connection with Willie Nelson in his past and his career, and that he chose to pursue being a family man and giving life back to his family and his community, and that he was able to be an influence on you and support you and encourage you to chase your dreams. And now it's all come full circle and you're opening for Mr. Willie Nelson. How does that feel,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's God. That's all I can say. That's the only explanation for all of it is just God is watching over all of us. And I'm just so thankful. It's crazy. It blows my mind every day. I just like have to pinch myself every now and again and say, shit, I'm about to open for Willie, and a bunch of cool folks coming up. But that's kind of the biggest deal for me.
You started playing music in some coffee shops and stuff in your community, right? Very early start, but you weren't actively performing regularly at a young age, correct?
Yeah. When I first started playing, I was probably... See, it was cool because I was like 16 when I started doing my first shows, and it was like kind of coffee shops, and I was just playing all original music. I didn't have to go out and do all the covers and stuff, so it was really interesting.
So we're gonna have to get to it at some point.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
You jump off a ledge at some point, and were you in high school still, or was it after high school?
I was in high school still. I failed the 5th grade.
Really?
I failed. I didn't get held back.
Yeah.
Nah, they held me back.
Really? They said he just ain't ready.
Yeah. I wasn't ready for middle school. I wasn't mature enough. I was a really dumb kid.
Were you just like putting whoopee cushions under your teacher's chairs?
No, it was a little darker than that.
But you made it through all that. You got a guitar in your hands, and it sounds like people in your sphere were starting to tell you that you had something special, and so you have the bold and brave idea to audition for internationally famous television show American Idol when you were 18 years old, correct?
Yeah.
What inspired you to try out for American Idol and take that leap? And I'm imagining you had no idea it was going to turn out the way that it did at that time in your life.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it too much.
Where was the audition? What city did you go to?
So I auditioned in Dallas at the Dallas Cowboy Stadium before it was
Jerry Jones City?
Jerry Jones City, yeah, before it was like fully done. So it was cool. I got to go to the Cowboys. That was like my favorite part.
Yeah.
But it was like hundreds of thousands of people, I think, that auditioned that year. And I was sitting there at the Cowboy Stadium, and I was listening to these people. And I was like, how the fuck? I was like singing like Jason Mraz or some shit, or like John Mayer. And I was like, I hope I can like stand out. And luckily, it was nerve wracking. I was like, I had barely performed, like I had maybe performed twice on stage. So I was just like, just had the most insane stage fright. And I wasn't even on a stage. They had you come up in like groups of 4. And there was like, it was just like, they were just pushing through people. And like, you would see, there was probably like 12 booths. And there was like groups of 4 that would just come in. Like you would sing like 20 seconds of a song. That's how fast it was before you got to the judges, you know?
So a lot of people don't make it past that, right?
Yeah, no, most people don't. So I auditioned way later in the day and literally watched as just thousands of people just got passed up on, you know?
I feel like the only people that make it to the final sphere to like get to see the judges at that point are people that are really talented and have potential, or the freak show.
Yeah, the freak show.
That's who they just keep passing.
Dude, it's
through.
crazy because you'll be literally in line, like talking with a new person, like how you and I are right now, and you'll be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sing Stevie Wonder or whatever," and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sing this song." You're like, "Good luck," and then like I literally was chilling with somebody, and they go in there, and it was like a complete joke.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Dude, I had no idea," but I think they knew they were a joke. So they were going in there like with the purpose of being like outlandish so they could be on TV.
So what is it like for you that, you know, your frontal lobe's like not even developed till you're 25. So you're 18 and you go from playing in coffee shops to putting yourself in a vulnerable position for potential ridicule and potential praise from huge celebrities and just sheer national exposure. That had to be a complete, mind fuck.
It was a mind fuck. I was like way too young. And some people can thrive in that at that age, but they usually are a lot more like emotionally stable. I was like a crazy kid. Just, it took me so long to kind of settle into who I was. And at that time I was like a ticking time bomb ready to go off at any moment. And that just, accelerated all that.
Were you confident in your ability, or would you say like that chapter in your life, the American Idol thing, were you more nervous, or was it just so overwhelming like you don't even remember it almost?
Well, I just remember being so, it was like Eminem in 8 Mile where he goes in the bathroom before he goes on and throws up, and it was like that every time I had to go perform. I was just fucking scared to death, like I was gonna die up there, And it's because I didn't put the time in to like get used to that nervous feeling that you get when you perform a ton, where it's just like going to work. You know what I mean? And it's okay to get a little nervous. It's important, I think. It's
like you didn't do basic training before you went to war.
Exactly,
they threw
exactly.
you in with the big dogs.
Yeah, but I like I told you, at a young age, I had a sense of confidence in my raw musical talent because I had a good mentor and stuff. So I knew. I even told my girlfriend at the time. She was like, "What if you don't make it?" I said, "I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna go on there no matter what. I know I'm gonna make it." And I. But once I got in front of the lights and they, you know what I mean? It was like I wasn't like I didn't put the time in, but mentally I had the self-belief that I think it takes to be a successful artist or be successful in pretty much anything. Is you gotta have a belief in yourself before folks start believing in you. And I think I had this crazy thing in me that I did believe in myself, even though I was new and didn't have much experience.
Yeah, and I think that backbone probably came from like your support system. That you knew you had people, and that's a big thing for people's mental health and the way that they view themselves and view the world is how they were raised. I mean, it almost always comes back to that. So I'm glad that you can appreciate that about your youth and the opportunities for emotional support that you had to go chase that dream. What year were you doing the Idol thing?
It was 2010.
2010. So that's really before the social media explosion of the 2010s. That's before Instagram had video and everything had ads and stuff. It was really like Facebook profiles. That was back in the days.
It was before IG.
Yeah. It was like when people were still saying like Alex Lambert is sitting on the couch, like on the Facebook status, it was
it's when people were satisfied with like a status, like a post with words. Yeah, Twitter was popping then.
Maybe even before the like button on Facebook.
I
think Twitter's what made Facebook get the like button, is because it had the heart. Yeah. But anyway, so it's before like social media can transform your life overnight, like a TikTok sensation type thing. But a similar experience, because American Idol was so famous at that point and everybody watched it. So for you to go from just like regular kid to national TV exposure, like how did that affect you in your social life?
Well, I thought I was like famous, dude. I thought I was popping. I was like, this is it.
You had to be like on cloud 9.
I made
right?
it. Yeah, it was cool, but it was like equally as good as it was bad, for me at the time. I just was like, developed such a big head about it all. I just didn't. I was like not humble as I should have been about it. And I remember coming off the show, I was so pissed. And like after you get voted off, they put you through all these interviews, and like everybody was like trying to promote themselves. Like they're like, "What do you want to do after this?" And they're like, answers would be like, "I want to play Coachella," or like, "I want to play like these music festivals." And I was like, "Nothing." You know what I mean? Like I was just so like sour about it all. It was a lot for me. But I remember I left Idol, and all my friends, I couldn't even hang out with people. They'd be like, "Hey, he was on Idol." So, but and that really annoyed me, and it still does when people do that. But I was at home for like maybe 3 days, and I think I slept like 18 hours a day just because I was so overwhelmed. Like they get you up at 5 or 6 in the morning every day and just make you sit there in a room until you go on. Just because I think they just want everybody in one place so they can easily organize and orchestrate the show. But like it was just so nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
All the nervous energy of all the contestants, and everybody's just like, "Oh, I hope I do good." And I'm just like, "I'm fucking nervous." They're like, "No, you're good."
Dude, I remember I was in I did like competitive theater and debate in high school.
Okay.
It was like acting competitions. Like we would do like improv. We'd like draw a topic, and you'd have 30 minutes to make a sketch and then perform it in front of a whole school or whatever. And on days like that, just the rate of competition and the pacing and the fact that you had to perform too, couldn't eat all day.
Yeah,
like
don't
no,
you hate
like
that?
can't get a donut in. It's just like a crazy type of adrenaline. I imagine that's what the show was like.
Yeah, it was partly like how you said, it was like not even real. It's like it's parts I like hardly remember because it was just so much adrenaline. It's like when you get in a fist fight and you're just like, I think I won.
Yeah.
Like I think that was
you should maybe see the other guy.
Yeah, it was very surreal. It was mind blowing, but I was at home. To get back to what I was saying, it was so overwhelming that like I was at home and slept for so long. I was just sleeping like so many hours, and then I got a phone call from 19 Entertainment, who runs like American Idol, and
Simon Fuller,
who create. Yeah, so they call me and they're like, "Hey, we want you to do this other show," and so like, and they were like, "You signed a contract." Like I was like, "I don't know if I want to do it." They're like, "You have to do it."
Really?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And what kind of like when you're in a contractual obligation point like that, like what is the level of like aggression? Is it like a subtle thing where they're like, well, you have to do this for your career, it is obligated, or is it like we got you, man, you're gonna do this show?
I think they finessed me pretty good about it. They were pretty sweet. They were like, just do the show. Like, what the hell else are you gonna do?
And who's guiding you and professionally managing you at that point, or is it just like you and your mom, and you're just like, "Mom, should I do this?"
Yeah. Check this out. So I was 19 because I failed the 5th grade, but I was a senior in high school, so I still had school. They asked me, they said, "Yo, do you want to do school while you're here?" And I was like, "No." So all the other kids that were in high school like me would go with their parents and go to the thing, but I was 19, and I told my mom I want to do it on my own. I was a really independent kid. I felt like I wanted to focus just on the show, so I didn't even do the whole school thing. So I did it just by myself, man. Like, obviously, my mom was always kind of there, but like for the most part, I didn't have much guidance. I was pretty much just solo on the experience and after.
That's crazy. I'm 27 now, and anybody that knows, like I remember all the student loans I signed up for when I was 18. I mean, you just don't have, in public school, they don't teach you how to navigate the real world. They'll teach you algebra and biology and writing classes and stuff, but they don't teach you
how to do your taxes.
How to do your taxes. I'm cussing about it all the time. I'm just like, man, if I learned how to do that stuff, as a kid. And so definitely there's no class for how you could navigate your social sphere with the exposure that you were getting at that time. And I definitely I don't know if you feel guilt about it or wish it hadn't been that way, but I don't think you can hold yourself too accountable or responsible for it blowing up your ego at that time in your life. Because how could anybody, like, people could judge on the outside and be like, man, that guy let it go to his head. Like, if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't have done that. But you're also not on TV every night,
Dude, I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
I was a kid. I was like playing football, a couple months before, just carefree. And then next thing I know, I'm supposed to like be a hardworking professional musician. Like, I wasn't ready. And I was a kid and I didn't know any better. So I don't have any regret or guilt. I wanted to have fun. I lived in LA. I went there to get back to what I was saying. They said, you got to do this other show. I moved to LA and I was on a reality show where they like filmed us 24 hours a day. It was called If I Can Dream. It was a Hulu series.
You moved by yourself?
Yeah, I moved by myself. It was like a
huge step in that alone, right? Because you didn't go to college. Your college was If I Can Dream.
My college was If I Can Dream, and being in the music business and working with amazing producers and songwriters and other artists. But yeah, dude, I had so much fun. I don't regret any of it. Obviously, I could have worked harder, but I was a kid. All my friends were in college. I would go home and they'd be like, you know, all my friends would be at Texas Tech or doing whatever, just partying. And I'm just like, I want to party.
Yeah.
And I did.
Oh, this happened to you too on the show, is that you had I don't know if any of this had happened to anybody else, but you had a petition started to get you back on it when you were voted off. And apparently Demi Moore signed the petition to get you back on.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, very cool. But
somebody mentioned that to me.
Yeah, maybe Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis mentioned that to me?
Yeah, because, you know.
Did they have a thing?
Yeah.
Dude, I have such a hard time keeping up with.
I should have said Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, I would have gotten that one.
So, as your how long did you live in LA?
So I lived in LA from 2010 to 2015. So 5 years.
Leaving the idol thing, and I'm sure there had to be a period of shedding that kind of snake skin of what that did to your life. And you deciding to, even though you had this big opportunity on television, clearly there was no stopping you from pursuing the journey of an artist. Like you're going to do music for your life, right? So
yeah.
What was that kind of like that period from phasing out of the LA and deciding that you needed to relocate and try something new with your life?
Well, kind of what happened is I was in LA and they had me on a production deal, which I was doing a demo deal. I was just writing and recording with anybody that they would pay producers and writers to work with me. So I was just building a portfolio of songs so we could pitch it to the labels. We went and did these label meetings with everybody: Sony, Warner, Epic, everybody, every label in LA, every major label. So we went in these meetings and everybody said the same thing. He's just too green. He's too new. He's not like, we want him to be a little bit further. Because nowadays you got to have everything going on before anybody's going to mess around with you anyway.
Right.
So that's kind of the beginning of that. And the music industry has changed even so much since then. But I didn't get a deal. Signed a publishing deal and we started pitching all the songs that I had written for my portfolio as an artist to other artists. And we got a couple cuts. And so I had a little bit of royalty money coming in. I had like I was on a retainer with 19. So I was just out there having fun, dude. Just smoking so much weed. And I didn't have any desire to be like successful. I was just like wanting to have fun and enjoy my life. The American Idol thing was such a high that I was like, I don't even know, man. I came out to LA and I always wanted to do music for a living. And I got out here and I was like, this shit ain't what I thought it was. You know what I mean? This is not the dream that I have been dreaming about my whole life, to be a musician. And I kind of just lost a little bit of love for making music because of how I saw the business working. Yeah,
the curtain gets pulled back and you go, damn, like this is not.
Yeah.
And you see, I mean, there's such a history in all of music of like record labels and stuff manipulating artists on contracts and stuff. The same thing that happened to you when you were on the show, just a younger person being manipulated into like this entertainment industry in this sphere. And it is such a monster, and it's a huge vessel for success, but it can chew up and swallow people if you don't have the right guidance, like the right management and stuff. So, would you say that you having that kind of like lukewarm approach to your career, you're like, yeah, whatever. You said the show was such a high and stuff. Do you think, in retrospect, was the show a catalyst for your musical journey? Like, did it make you want to chase it more? Or do you think it held you back for a few years in finding out what you actually wanted to do?
It did a few things.
Yeah.
It made me feel less like a creative and more just like a singer. And I had to get over that. But it gave me a little bit of confidence in myself. Okay, I was on TV and people were voting for me and shit. I must be good. I must be decent. So it gave me a sense of confidence as well to know that I could have, some success on a national level, even a little bit.
In Demi Moore's house, ex-wife of Bruce Willis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so man, it was, but the thing is that I was a kid and I didn't have the right mindset. That's all it was. Is I had this opportunity in this launching pad. I just didn't have the right mindset. I was like, I had this expectation, and since it wasn't that, I was just like, I don't think I want to do this.
When did that start to shift? When did you go, I want to do this for real? Like, I want to make it doing my thing, my sound in this industry. What caused the shift in the headspace for you?
COVID. I was running a real estate business and I had a pretty lucrative thing going on, and I was flipping houses and stuff. And
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering what kind of, like, from the LA time to hear what you did for income and everything.
Yeah, I started reading all the books. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, 4 Hour Work Week, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I was just like going down that rabbit hole of like, how can I be successful and wealthy? And I thought money was going to be the answer to happiness. And
Real Estate for Dummies.
Didn't read that one.
We got Bartending for Dummies upstairs.
I don't want to read that.
If this EP doesn't hit, you got to go back to bartending.
Probably, yeah. That's probably the next move here in Nashville.
Well, I mean, dude, that's admirable in and of itself, even in the real estate endeavor that you read books and that you had adopted a mindset of wanting to garner success.
That's
as
right.
an individual. I mean, that's a thinker's game.
For sure. But I went from like a complete scrub that was like all art to like a complete stiff who was just worried about making money. And I think over the years, as my soul continued to just die, I've eventually COVID hit, and I was forced because I became kind of a workaholic, and I was just like deals. Like I had 5. At one point, I think we had like 8 employees, and I had started the business on my own. I had like virtual assistants in the Philippines, and I had disposition people. I had created an entire system. It's really boring, but COVID hit, and I couldn't work anymore. No more deals were coming in. I was buying foreclosure properties, and the foreclosure stopped happening. So I was like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Just calling everybody, what am I going to do? And I just picked up my guitar and started writing new songs. And it was the biggest COVID-19, as terrible of a thing as it was the biggest blessing to me, because it let me slow down and create again and do what I really truly believe God put me on earth to do.
I think a lot of people are able to, especially in hindsight, see that time period in the world as an opportunity to slow it down. It did kind of force people in America and all over the world, I'm sure, to say, what's going on inside of me? And I think that's why so much anxiety and depression and bad shit happened, is people like were forced to look internally. There wasn't so much external distraction. And so to hear that brought your artistry back to the forefront of your mind, it makes me wonder, one, in that real estate stiff time of your life, were you still playing as a hobby?
Yeah.
Were you still like, you were still picking, so you were honing the art form behind the scenes.
Kind of.
But then your artistic spirit was reawakened in that silence of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, I just don't know how to do anything else, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do anything else. I didn't go to school. I don't know any trades. All I know how to do is flip houses and write music and sing songs. So it's amazing. But the thing is, it's beautiful because I had an outlet. A lot of folks don't got an outlet, and those are the folks that probably were going crazy during COVID. But it was like very easy to know what I needed to do. It was like, there's a guitar, strum some chords, and emote.
Yeah. So how do we get from you, this artistic fire within you being reawakened, to you taking it seriously and getting these songs back out there in the world, and then this move to Nashville? Tell me about that part of your journey.
Well, the biggest chink in my armor as an artist was performing, because I had just been doing the coffee shop, and then I went idle, and then I just like didn't do anything after that, really, because I was scared. I was just like a little bitch. I just didn't want to be nervous. I didn't want to go, I didn't want to feel that anxiety of having a show coming up. So I said, fuck that. I'm going to do so many shows that I'm going to get so good at performing that it's just going to be like another day in the office. So I just went and started writing songs, but I was just performing. I just was performing 5-6 days a week. Anywhere that'll have me. Fort Worth, I was playing in coffee shops, breweries, house parties, whatever they'll have me. I'll play every single day. And I don't care if it was a 5-hour gig or a 30-minute gig, whatever. I was just going to go perform, play, and hone my craft as a performer.
Paying the dues on the stage.
That's right.
Did you have to develop that part of yourself as an entertainer and a stage presence person when the music came so naturally to you?
Yeah, I don't know how naturally the music ever came to me. It did take me time to develop my sound, I guess you'd say. But it did happen organically, luckily. But yeah, it was a very interesting journey because I was playing a lot of like, beer joints and just shitty bars where like nobody was really listening. And I think that I had to like fight for the attention. I had to really like get up there and like kick ass get people, and I just would just keep turning up my fucking speaker, you know what I mean? Until they literally have to come tell me to turn it down, which didn't offend me at all because I knew I was just being obnoxiously loud because I just couldn't handle just like putting my heart. I'm not the kind of singer that's just like, hey, I'm here singing. I'm kind of like, you know what I mean? So I was just like, how I'm like putting my heart on the line here. And you're just like chatting with your friend about like, closing a real estate deal. Probably.
Background music.
Yeah,
gigs.
I did a lot of background music gigs. But it's given me a greater appreciation for like the gigs that we're doing now that like people are there to actually watch the music. And it's like, I'm not used to that. Playing my songs and people going, what is this? What is he saying? Like, what are these stories? Like, I'm not used to that. I'm used to playing Tennessee whiskey and wagon wheel.
Yeah.
Just to get people engaged. And I would throw my originals in there, but
it's unique to find out that you have a new appreciation for the listening crowd, it sounds like.
Yeah.
After playing the background gig and paying your dues in that regard.
Yo, it's new for me.
Yeah.
It's new to play for a listening crowd, and I'm used to the rowdier crowd. So it's going to be my music ain't really rowdy. You know what I mean? So it's going to be more of, I think, a listening crowd moving forward. So I have to get used to that. That's something new that I'm going to be doing in the next couple of years.
In your genre of, are you calling it country soul? I hate talking about genres because it gets so
dude,
muddy.
It is what it is. It's part of it. Yeah. Let's say I just say Texas soul.
Texas soul sounds way sexier than country soul.
It's way sexier.
Yeah, way sexier.
Yeah.
Demi Moore should be ringing in on the line here at any point.
Is he on?
Yeah.
Demi.
Bruce is on.
Bruce is on. I call it Texas soul just because, I don't feel much like a country singer. I don't feel much like a country artist, but I do love country music. Always have. My whole family, that's all my granddad. Both granddads on both sides was country music singers and songwriters. So,
well, I think you're from Texas and I'm from Arkansas, and I guess it's gotten worse since I've lived.
What part of Arkansas are you from?
I'm from a suburb north of Little Rock called Cabot.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know where Mena's at?
I do know where Mena is at.
I got a lot of family in
Mena. I actually got my start playing professionally, getting paid. I was in bands and stuff in high school and college, I went to college at the University of Central Arkansas in Conway, Arkansas, where Conway Twitty pointed to the map and got his name from, actually. I don't know if you know that story.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I can't remember what Conway's actual name is, but they said you needed a stage name, so he just put two fingers on a map, apparently, and it was like Twitty, Texas, and Conway, Arkansas were the two. His middle and index finger were on.
That's pretty dope.
And I got my start there playing at a Mexican restaurant when I was 18. I had a fake ID, and I was just like, I convinced them. They could barely speak English, and I convinced them. I was just like, hey, let me just bring my stuff for free and set up a tip jar and it'll be good. I swear to God, dude, that Mexican restaurant, you drop a Mr. Brightside in a Mexican restaurant in Conway, Arkansas in a college town, you will experience fame for the first time in your life.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that. But
no, it is rowdy. So I think, I do want to ask you this. So in
More
we're
about
talking
you, dude.
about Texas
I want to
soul.
talk about you, man.
we'll do that.
I'm just kidding.
Well, you live here now. We'll get a beer off the clock.
Yeah.
That's the Nashville curse. Everybody's like, oh, dude, we got to write together.
Yeah, I did that for a while. I had to stop doing that.
People are really enthusiastic, but they're enthusiastic about anything collaborative until the day of. And they go, hey.
Oh, actually,
hey,
it's the day before.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, hey,
that's cold. Day
I'm
before.
feeling a little sick.
I think I think I got strep throat.
Yeah.
But
So wait, are you a guitar and a singer? Guitar player?
yeah, so like around here they would call what I do is a front man. I play acoustic guitar and sing, and downtown we're mostly I'm doing like Hank Jr. impersonation all night.
Fuck yeah. You don't play at Roberts?
No, I don't play at Roberts. I don't go that old school really. I'm more like
that's my favorite country.
Yeah, I mean, I love Western swing, and I love everything that happens at Roberts. I got a lot of friends that play there, but I do more of the like Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, like outlaw
70s, 70s and 80s country.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, like at my shows, I'll say like, hey, if you want to hear Morgan Wallen tonight, you're at the wrong bar. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But it's because it gets requested 99 times out of 100 by girls in pink cowboy hats
Whiskey glasses.
paying $1. Yeah. And we like to preserve country music for the people that come to Nashville to hear it.
There you go. I love that.
The thing is I love all genres of music. There's a place for Texas soul, Texas country pop, whatever it is, the Morgan Wallen thing or whatever. And in your sound, I wonder, I think in the 4 songs that I've heard of yours that are on the internet and on Spotify and everything, I'm not a guy that's gonna stop what I'm doing and listen to some soul music. But when I pulled it up, I was like, man, this guy is real. I really think you got something. It's great.
Thank you,
and I think what preserves the sincerity and the organicness of these songs, especially the soul, roomy, vibey thing, is the mix. You gotta have the reverb. You gotta have the space. So what's your relationship as a songwriter and the artist coming in with the producer and being like, yo, it's gotta breathe in the mix? Or are you working with people that already have that understanding?
They already have the understanding.
They know
I
what you
only want to work with people that have that understanding, that when we talk about what kind of records that we want to do for me, it's already kind of a mutual understanding that they know what my influences are and the type of records that I want to have. So that's usually like, they're like, yeah, I want to do this. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what I want to do too. And that's why I've been working with folks that want to work with me. I haven't been going after like producers and stuff that like are, you know what I mean? Like have a big name. It's more folks that I know that want to work with me and believe in what I'm doing, but also know what I'm trying to do. So
how do you vet that out between people that want to work with you and somebody that like, do you listen to somebody's catalog and be like, that's going to be the guy that can bring my vision to life? Like who produced Crying in the Rain for you?
Well, my buddy Grant produced Crying in the Rain, but here's the deal.
Good job, Grant. Shout out, Grant.
Shout out Grant Thompson. That's my boy. But the thing is that we did that with like no budget. So like I helped produce a lot of it because we just did it at my house. And the drums are programmed but once we were able to actually go into the studio, it was like, yeah, listen to their catalog, but also chat and hang out and be like, what the...
Yeah, if I can't fuck with this guy, no way he's gonna make my record, right?
Yeah, you know how it is in this thing. It's like you want to hang out. You're gonna be with these people for hours on end. You want to make sure that you can like chop it up and just like kind of.
Yeah, my last producer,
shit.
I knew like I had 11 songs that I wanted to do on my last record, and I had them perfectly organized in my mind. And when I met up with the producer, it was the same question for every guy: are you a fan of Bruce Willis?
Fuck off, dude. Fuck off.
I took you down that rabbit hole. But you've got an EP coming out next week, right?
I am really excited about this record. I've been super blessed. I live with an amazing landlord. My landlord's name is J. Gary Smith. He has a home studio. We cut the whole record, the whole EP in his little basement studio, it's not a home studio really. It's kind of like a full-blown room, so we were able to get some amazing stuff, and the room has soul, and a lot of these songs mean a lot to me, so I'm really excited about releasing the EP.
Was there a moment with your original music that you've made recently that popped things back up again? Was it like Crying in the Rain came out or something and people are like, okay, like we're listening to this guy and we're watching him again? Or do you feel like you were constantly accumulating a fan base over so many years that just stuck with you and persevered through your journey, and then they were like ready when this awesome song came out?
Not that. It's all been kind of new.
Yeah.
Because I do have a lot of like ride or die people who've been there.
Yeah. Did you have like a video blow up or something, or was there like...
Yeah, I had the Crying in the Rain TikTok thing happen.
That happened on TikTok?
Yeah, that happened on TikTok, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so that video hit the algorithm on TikTok.
Yeah.
So
And what's crazy is everybody that's seeing that, well, most everybody I would imagine, would not know you from a past life.
Yeah,
your own.
no. We I want the past life to die a little bit.
Yeah.
So, because I don't really look at myself as the American Idol guy. I hardly even remember that I did that most days.
And yeah, that's why I didn't want to dwell on it too much. I mean, I know it's interesting stuff to talk about, but I would encourage you, and not that you don't feel this way, but I would encourage you to be proud of your journey and know that it's unique and that like you were the guy on American Idol and If I Can Dream, and you're the guy that like a phoenix rose out of the real estate ashes to bring this next chapter of your story to the surface. You know, I think that's a lot to be proud of.
Beautiful, man. Love that. Yeah, you're right. You are 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I am proud of it. It's part of my life. It's just an older chapter that's less creative.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a creative artist. I think I fancy myself a pretty creative person, and I think it's easy to be a reality show contestant and then them just pigeonholing you, like, you know what I mean? It gets a stigma behind it.
Here's the thing, Alex, is I fundamentally believe that your music and the steps that you're taking in your career and what you're sharing with the world is absolutely going to murder the past chapter of the American Idol thing, and you will be an example of somebody that went through that and still paved their own way and made their own music. So that I don't think you're going to be pigeonholed by that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Or stigmatized by that. And I think you'll be proof too that just like, even if people watch this interview, they're going to be like, that's a real guy who cares about art, who cares about music, who cares about lyrics, and is trying his best. Like, you can't judge people based on what they went through, but I like to judge people at their best, you know?
There you go.
And when I hear your music and the music you've been putting out the last year or two, it sounds like a man who's at his best, who's been through some stuff. And when I hear that Crying in the Rain, sounds like you actually cried in the rain a few times.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just taking this thing day by day, and I've just been so blessed to have we've been creating an amazing team here. And I'm realizing how important that is. I thought I was going to do this thing on my own forever. I've been doing, since I was doing the Idol thing, I kind of was on my own. I didn't have much guidance, and I'm realizing putting trust and faith into your team that believes in you is like essential, and having other folks help you along the way. They say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And I'm realizing that, and it's been amazing.
It is that you finally like found the family and the people that are going to help you bring your vision to life.
Yep. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's got to be exciting, right?
Yeah, it's extremely exciting, and it's been less of like a forced thing, and it's been more of like a God thing. It's just all kind of everything's happening organically and naturally, and it's amazing, dude. I'm so blessed. Most days I wake up and I'm just like, I can't even believe the people that are surrounding me, and you know what I mean. It's like my manager Dylan and Tanner. These guys have helped me believe in myself more than I already did. You know what I mean?
How'd you meet them?
So Dylan manages Flatland, and funny enough, a bourbon company in Texas kept hitting up Dylan to do stuff with Flatland, and he said, "Hey, you got," and me and him were friends. He started letting me. He wanted me like endorse his bourbon or whatever. But anyways, he introduced me to Dylan, and then we did a couple meetings, And then I had the TikTok blow up, and I had like a bunch of people hit me up, and he slid in my DMs.
Slid right in.
Off the TikTok. So yeah, we met, and I met with a bunch of people, but when I met Dylan, I said, this guy is real.
Mm-hmm.
He's genuine. He's hungry. He's got already doing shit. He's already having successful stuff happen. So it was a very easy decision. Yeah. Although I didn't tell him that at the time. I made it seem like I might.
You cool got him a little bit.
Yeah, I cool got him a little bit, but yeah. It's been amazing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love to hear that you've met a team of people that are willing to help you get there and bring this vision to life. And it sounds like these songs have been brewing in you since you were a young man in Texas, and
maybe so.
They're finally coming to the forefront and coming to the surface. And I know I'm excited about what you're doing, and I hope you are too. And I hope it's the chapter that you're in now and the phase that you're in now is a more relaxed and organic and artistic chapter than things you've been blitzkrieg forced through in the past,
It is.
Yeah.
It is, man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast, dude.
Thanks for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, what a privilege it's been to have Mr. Alex Lambert on the podcast. Alex, one last ceremonial cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thank you so much.
We're going to go out. What song should we go out with of yours?
Oh, of mine?
Yeah.
Let's do Rebel Ways.
Rebel Ways?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I think that's my favorite of the four.
Thank you.
Yeah, it sure is. Alex Lambert, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Payton Collier Podcast.
'Cause in bad times, yeah.